Welcome to the ATC Life Builders podcast, your nook for unraveling the mysteries of the mind and the intricate tapestry of our lives and becoming leadership masters of ourselves to better serve the world. I'm your host, James Oviedo. In today's episode, we'll cover how the events of our past pave the way for our today and tomorrow. We're peeling back layers on the models our experiences create, akin to blueprints that guide our every reaction and every decision. Moreover, we'll dive deep into the significance of confronting these past experiences head on, because what lies behind us can sometimes hold the keys to unlocking what lies ahead of us. So let's journey into the heart of our personal history and embrace the lessons it has to teach us today. Strap in, because this ride will take us through the core of what makes us, us. Imagine you're leafing through an old scrapbook. Every photo, a memory, each ticket stub, a story. That's precisely how our mind works when it comes to experiences. Every moment, every encounter leaves a mark on us, etching itself deep into our very essence. Now, these aren't just idle memories. No, they're more like reference models, a library of life's lessons that our minds draw upon when we're faced with new situations. Now, think of how you react when someone brings up a topic that you've experienced firsthand. There's a reason your instincts kick in, your opinions flare up, or your heart begins to race. That's because your personal experiences are directly influencing all these reactions. For every encounter, your mind is thumbing through that vast scrapbook, picking out a model that says, hey, here's how we dealt with this before, remember? Our experiences quite literally shape our worldview. They set the foundation. If you've ever felt a sudden surge of joy when you smell a certain perfume or the aroma of your favorite dish, that's your experience influencing your preference. It reminds you of a happier time, say a family gathering or a memorable evening with a friend. And just like that, your day brightens up a bit. On the flip side, think of something you avoid, like the plague. Maybe it's a particular food that once made you ill, or maybe it's an activity that didn't go well in the past. Your mind has stored models that virtually yell out, red alert, we didn't like this last time, remember? That's enough to steer you away, often without even giving it a second thought. It's fascinating, isn't it? How our brains can instantaneously pull up a past experience and influence our very preferences, biases, and reactions at this moment. So, as we wade through the sea of experiences that we're constantly creating and recording, the question becomes, how do these experiences shape the lens through which we see the world? It's something to ponder as we go through this discussion today. And I invite you to think about your own life scrapbook. What experiences are you drawing from day to day? And how are they shaping the way that you react to the world around you? How do you show up? What do you look like when you show up? Remember, these models aren't set in stone. They're more like guidelines, but recognizing them is the first step to understanding how we navigate this complex and ever-changing world that we all live in. With this in mind, let's dive deeper into this topic and unravel the intricate way our experiences mold our every response. Think back to your earliest memories and consider how they've colored the canvas of your adult life. Today, we're exploring how pivotal childhood experiences, especially those involving something as fundamental as water, can dictate the fears and passions that we carry into adult life. Our first plunge into the deep end, the chill of the water enveloping us, might have been a moment of exhilaration or trauma. For some, that initial leap becomes a cherished memory, coaxing them back to the water's edge time and time again. The joy of splashing around in the pool or the ocean etches a positive connection in the mind. It's no wonder why many of us become avid swimmers, surfers, or simply souls who find solace in the rhythmic sound of waves crashing on the shore. Now, let's wade into the flip side. For others, an early encounter with water might have been less of a gentle ripple and more of a tidal wave experience, a near drowning experience, a particular cold swim, or even witnessing someone else's fear can cast a long shadow. The mind, in its bid to protect us, catalogs this fear and seals it tight. As adults, this could manifest itself as a phobia, an unease, or a complete aversion to water activities of any kind. It's fascinating, you see, how moments locked in time, like hidden treasures or perhaps forgotten landmines, have the power to influence our life's trajectory. How do we feel about water now? Do we steer clear of the shorelines? Or do we dive in at every opportunity, feeling the embrace of the waves as a homecoming experience? Understanding these imprints can be like mapping the currents of our personal oceans, uncovering the why behind our drawn or withdrawn tides towards these experiences. It prompts us to ask, how have such early life events, not just with water, but with all our first encounters, left such a lasting impact? How can we take this understanding and navigate our lives, maybe even charting a new course if the current one doesn't serve us the way it should? As we reflect, it's important to recognize that these formative experiences don't have to anchor us in place. Instead, they can be stepping stones or life buoys to keep us afloat as we explore the vast, often unpredictable waters of life. So, whether you're someone who feels the pull of the tide or prefers to admire it from afar, know that your experiences are valid, they matter. And it's the acknowledgement and understanding of these experiences that can empower us to either wade deeper or chart a new path entirely. As we journey through life, each experience we have is like a brick in the foundation of our personal development. Over time, these bricks form models, intricate structures through which we interpret the world around us. But how often do we actually take a step back to observe the very foundations we stand on? Self observation is a powerful tool in understanding these models. By peering within ourselves and reflecting our internal constructs, we gain insights into why we think the way we think, why we react the way that we do. It's almost like being an archaeologist in our own minds, sifting through layers of emotions and memories and beliefs to uncover the origin of your current worldview. Acknowledging these mental models doesn't mean we're accepting them as unchangeable. Rather, it's about recognizing their existence and understanding their influence on our daily lives. It begs the question, are our reactions genuinely ours, or are they echoes of past experiences? Consider this. You might hold back from speaking your mind in meetings, not because you lack brilliant ideas, but because of a model built from a time when you were ridiculed for sharing your thoughts and ideas. And that stays with you. Recognizing this pattern can be both enlightening and liberating. Self awareness is the catalyst for personal growth. It empowers us to dismantle problematic aspects of our models and reconstruct them in healthier ways. Picture yourself as the architect of your own mind, capable of renovating outdated structures and transforming them into spaces where positivity and resilience thrive. As we hone the art of self observation, we can start to step away from those immediate, sometimes irrational responses our models dictate. We begin to see our reactions for what they truly are: choices. Choices that we can evaluate, refine, or even reject in favor of more constructive responses that serve us better in the present moment. Through this process, we don't just become conscious of ourselves. We open the door to deeper personal connections, improved decision making, and a more authentic expression of who we truly are. After all, understanding the inner landscape of our minds is the first step towards navigating the complex outer world with greater skill and wisdom. So let's not shy away from the mirror of self reflection. Instead, let's embrace it as the path to unlocking our fullest potential. Each of us carries a mosaic of memories, a patchwork that weaves into the tapestry of our present selves today. It's not just the bright moments that add vibrant strokes to this piece of art, but the shadows too. Our past, with its share of heartaches and triumphs, holds insights that, if properly navigated, can lead us towards a future of healing and self discovery. Now, how do we face our past without letting the ache of old wounds tighten their grip around us and making us feel like we're being strangled? Imagine for a moment that your past experiences are like clouds drifting through the sky. Some are stormy and dark, others light and fluffy. But instead of determining the climate of your mental landscape, let them pass. When we confront these events without resistance, they lose their power over us, releasing their hold as if sun dissolving the midst of a morning haze. This idea is not about denying the hurt or the joy our experiences comprise. No, it's more nuanced than that. It's about embracing them without tension, without the resistance that oftentimes turns what could be a trickle of memory into a flood. Think of it as learning to dance in the rain rather than waiting for the storm to pass. It's about acknowledging that we have no control over the weather of our past, but we can control how we step out into it. The key to mastering this art of confrontation is to give yourself permission to feel, to grieve, and eventually to heal. It's about looking your past in the eye and saying, I see you, I honor the role you've played in my life, but you're not the captain of my future. It is within this approach that the healing power truly emerges. For when we let these experiences pass through, like water through our fingers, we're no longer bound by their currents. And remember, while the journey of facing our past is deeply personal, you're not walking this path alone. Others have braved this journey and found solace and release. You're not in it alone. Their shared experiences, like breadcrumbs on a trail, might offer you comfort and guidance. It's your story, your path, but the collective wisdom of many who have walked similar roads might be the light you need when confronting the shadows of bygone days. In the end, the past is a teacher, not a jailer. And if we learn its lessons without allowing it to fetter us, our lives often open up to realms of possibility where growth and peace can flourish. So take a deep breath, set your gaze forward, and let the past be just that, past. Picture a dam, grand, sturdy, nestled in a serene landscape. It stands as a testament to human ingenuity, holding back a vast reservoir of water. Yet, within its bulging walls lies the potential for energy, as well as the possibility of overwhelming release. This, dear listeners, is much like the dam of our own past experiences. It's from these reservoirs of our yesterday that the waters of emotion lie, sometimes calm, sometimes stirring restlessly, eager to breach the confines and cascade right over the top of it. Each brick in this metaphorical dam represents a moment in our lives, a single memory that has shaped the emotions we harbored. The near drowning experience is a child that casts a shadow over every subsequent encounter with water. The intimate family picnics by the lake that instill lifelong love of nature. Every experience, every memory lays another brick on the dam. And just like a physical dam, the pressure builds over time. If it's well maintained, regularly inspected, and carefully managed, it can be a source of great power. It can irrigate parched fields of thought and generate the energy for change. Properly channeled, these emotional waters can turn the turbines of our own personal growth, lifting up the cities of our ambition and nurturing the fields of our relationships. Yet the risks of neglect are just as real. Cracks in the structure, unresolved fears, unaddressed traumas, they may lead to leaks. Small at first, perhaps, but each one erodes the foundation just a little bit more. Unchecked, they widen, allowing more and more of the past to flood into the present, often when least expected. One might experience a sudden surge of anger from a seemingly insignificant slight, or a wave of sadness at a particular smell or sound that rips through time and space, pulling one back to a moment thought forgotten. These are the times the dam breaks, and the waters rush forth, often bringing destruction to the harmony of our lives. So, how do we manage it? How do we inspect the integrity of our emotional dam? The maintenance comes in the form of reflection, of stepping back and observing the waters we hold. It calls for courage to peer into the depths, to acknowledge and respect the power what lies within us. It demands that we learn to let the waters flow in controlled channels, expressed in healthy, productive, and meaningful ways. I invite you then to review your past experiences as both a source of strength and potential challenge. Nurturing our emotional reservoir with care, understanding, and patience can fortify the dam and harness the energies of days gone by. In such a way, we can power a life of purpose and joy, allowing us to flourish in the here and now, even as we honor the depth and richness of our past. A last thought to consider is, can we actually live a life without creating dams? This means you would need to not ever store up a harmful experience ever again. You would not maintain a record of all the wrong doings that others have caused you. You wouldn't be affected or bothered when someone cut you off while you were driving, or was rude and belligerent as you were pleasant and kind. How about that annoying coworker or friend? He would no longer, or she would no longer irritate or frustrate or upset you in any way. All the experiences would be like clouds in the sky that eventually pass by, leaving only the ever present expanse of the sky. What do you think? Can you live without creating dams, which can only be seen as blockages in our lives that prevent us from having success, significance, and service? I believe the answer is yes, but it's not a simple yes. Because first we have to be good self-observers and recognize how we've used experiences as weapons, not only against others, but mostly against ourselves. Because experiences shape our worldview. This means our thoughts are arranged and rearranged as we go through stuff and we attempt to make sense of it all. So when we observe experiences with correct, clear lenses, our perceptions come into proper perspective. This untarnished reflection generates good thoughts. This places our thinking onto a solid foundation and a great starting point. We can either control our thoughts or have our thoughts control us. We must allow experiences to be the teachers they are, and we must be the best students of ourselves and not resist the often rigorous lessons we will encounter. It's an open book test with no trick questions. Just be careful with the false assumptions you can incorrectly create in your mind based on what you thought you saw or what you thought you heard. Another helpful resource we covered in our podcast titled We Are What We Repeatedly Do are the 7 F's. And if you recall, there were faith, family, friendships, firm, finances, fitness, and fun. Maintaining the balance between the 7 F's can be a big help in our personal relationship and our mental well being as well. As we mentioned in that podcast, balancing the 7 F's is not only a sure way to identify successful leaders, but it provides you clarity, peace, and freedom on your developmental journey. So when you get a chance to listen to that podcast, review it again, and it'll just help to encourage you and support this podcast today in the teaching. This brings us, unfortunately, to the end of another journey. We've uncovered some profound truths about this tapestry woven into our life through experiences and how it shapes us, how it makes us feel, and how we pursue a passion or how we avoid it because of a fear. So take a moment, contemplate the rich tapestry of your life, reflect on it, learn from it, and may it guide you to an even brighter and beautiful tomorrow. Thank you for joining me on the ATC Life Builders podcast and our program today titled Experience is the Best Teacher. Don't forget that ATC stands for Always Thinking Community, and that's what we're trying to build here, because it's not just about individuals, but it's about individuals being together as well, learning, growing. So keep loving, keep learning, keep living, keep growing, and we'll see you next time.